Alright, I'm back for episode 72 of History Rewritten. I bet you didn't think I'd actually make any more videos of this. Well, there was a number of things that went wrong. First of all, if you're looking at this map and you're going, right, well the colours, they don't look right. And yeah, that's because I had to redraw the entire map. And I was trying to record this video a long time ago. From now, I accidentally destroyed the real map. So I had to go back and get a screenshot and then redraw the entire map from that screenshot, and it took ages. So that was great, and by the time I finished doing that, I was really ill. Maybe I had to tell them some of my more recent videos. Yeah, I'm ill. It's not fun. Anyway, I've decided, you know what, today I should probably, I think I'm getting better. I say. Anyway, yeah, I say that, but hopefully I should be getting better. Some of the borders might look slightly different, but today's episode is the 2025 one. So I thought it'd be good, seeing as I've not recorded in ages, and, you know, why don't we just compare this world to the modern day? I don't know, sounds like a bit of fun. It's not going to be a really interesting video. There's not going to be a whole lot that actually happens in terms of border changes. Probably nothing actually happens in terms of border changes, which is a bit sad, I suppose. But you know, maybe you'll find this interesting, comparing all this different stuff. So, how is this world different to our world? Well, there's quite a few things that are different about it, I would say. I mean, there's no United States, China's nowhere near as strong, Russia's nowhere near as strong. I mean, actually no, this Russia is stronger than our modern day Russia. It's just its population's lower, and its military is probably worse. It's just its economy is like $10 trillion or something. Probably not, like 5. I mean, Russia's economy is like 1.2 trillion, so maybe 2 trillion. Either way, this thing's still quite a few times stronger than Russia, at least economically, and stability. So yeah, you might be able to beat our actual Russia. It just depends. Also, you've got more allies. I have worked out a number of things I can do. Like, I could make an entirely new other layer for alliances. I also worked out how to do provinces, which I don't think I'm going to add to this series. Mainly because, I mean, like, it takes so long, and it's like a waste of time. It wouldn't be very accurate. But I mean, if I ever do season 2 of this, which I'd really like to, I can do other layers of, like, capitals, major cities, trade routes, provinces, like, alliance layer sort of thing. Stuff like that. It would be so cool. It would be so much better. I would enjoy it so much. So we'll do that, but let's look at some of the comparisons. I mean, power rankings I've talked about a lot in other videos, but let's talk about them again. So if we look at this world's #1 country, it is currently China. That might change in the following episodes. I mean, the USB is getting very close, but let's have a closer look at China. So, religion in China. It is literally all the Chinese religion. I think there's a single bit that isn't. Oh no, there is some Korean religion. No, it's in Korea. There's some areas in Korea that have Chinese religion. There might be slight pockets of the dark green religion, but generally, China's entire country is governed by their own religion. Of course it's a rich country, well done mate. It's quite a coastal nation with lots of important cities on the coast, and it's a highly influential country as well. I just can't talk apparently. I mean, sphere of influence of China is crazy. It's kind of crazy. I might even do like the global stuff, because since I last did a sphere of influence, China expanded like their economic alliance and lots of other things all around the globe. So, I mean, China's sphere, technically, and this is going to be true. I'm not sure how to do this. Okay. Don't worry about that. Just wait. slightly wrong. Then come down to this area. I don't know how do I go around this country? Actually, it's all the ones in the circle. Or in the circle. You're not. You're not. I'm getting confused now. I don't know. Understanding. I mean Korea. This slot. You. And all of you. But everyone else in this horrible looking mess. I don't know what I've done wrong here. But something like that. As you can see, you've got Siberia, all this big Russian stuff, all those Central Asian countries as well. Going down to southern China, the grey countries influence a lot of Indonesia influence, like the Malay country, Borneo, what are this islands called? I don't know what it's called. Southern Sumatra, I don't know what it's Sulawesi, I think parts of New Guinea have this big Australian one, some other random islands, southern Japan, the northern parts of Japan, and this is just their sort of like over here influence. I mean, you remember that, you've got all this in mind, it's a really disgusting map, don't you remember that? No. We also have Chinese influence over here in Africa around there. You recently joined their economic alliance. But apart from that, we also have this country pretty influenced. They're kind of spreading that to the surrounding nations. But also over here in North America, these guys being influenced. And then we also kind of have this lot. You're also pretty influenced by China. I mean, if we look at... Just check I haven't missed anyone. I probably should have looked at alliances. I don't know. Really, though? Yeah, I think I got everyone. So this is kind of China's overseas influence, I suppose. Everything else is much more domestic. I mean, Tasmania, I would say, is Chinese influence as well. It's just they're very scared of New South Galway, because they're right there. And they're gonna get them. So, that's a lot of countries under the Chinese influence. It's very scary for people around the world. It's gonna be very tricky to beat that sort of thing. And if they can spread that global... Yeah, that's my cousin. She's quite loud, actually. Yeah, it's got probably the best military. It's not... Well, it might be the most populous nation of Earth. Bengal, the USB, would give them a run for their money. I think China is probably the most populous nation on Earth. The USB is very close, however. Bengal is also quite close, but not quite there. India is also quite populous. South Africa. Well, China also has influence over this country. Yay. Random old Irish colony. So, well done for that, I suppose, China. Apart from that, what else does China do? Well, they commit genocide, basically. That's nice, isn't it? No. So, if we look at North America, apparently. Down here, Madagascar, we can see areas of Indian religion have been stamped out. And this one's gonna get destroyed. Oh yeah, stupid. This one's gonna get stamped out by Chinese people. They don't realize that China is actually funding this. I think it's more of a Malagasy thing. You know, they're trying to keep a tighter hold on it, however, yeah. Maybe not in time. Let's just like lessen troops. Okay, something like that. Basically, there's really not actually. You're probably just going to oopsie. Oh no, what have I done? Anyway, yeah, people try to stop these guys from doing it, however they just won't stop committing genocide, because they believe their religion is the best one. And that's never a good mindset to have. Well, not never, but literally in almost every single case. As for over here, like, it's quite tricky to do that, because, I mean, the Koreans are being quite nice to your religion, and also, it's your land that's been taken, you haven't taken anyone else's. So, it's only Chinese religion here. As for these guys, yeah, it's fine. Over here in Malaysia's the new project. Yeah, they're trying to stamp out the Irish religion, which is the terracotta coloured one, and replace it with the native Indian religion. And that's not fun. People don't like that happening. Also, why is this? Why am I here? Yeah, I just noticed this. I think. It's blue. Anyway, it's a mix of blue and Indian religion. Because you were colonized by the blue team, who spread their religion everywhere. I mean, not everywhere, but kind of. Very far. Look at all of Africa. That's very cool. So yeah, I mean, China also massacred people over here in Taiwan and also the Philippines. So yeah, it's pretty scary. I feel like this is a slightly less updated version for some reason. I'm not really sure. Anyway, let's move on to the second strongest country in the world, the USB. How are things going here? Also, yeah, it's nowhere near as strong as the United States of America, China, I mean. The United States, at the moment, I think is at about $30 trillion. This China is probably somewhere at about 15. So this gives you a general image of comparatively how strong these countries are. I don't know, I feel like we have had more economic crashes. So realistically, their money would mean less. So they probably would have like $30 trillion. It would be equal to our modern day 50 trillion. I don't know, something like that. Because yeah, you had 3 world wars. We've only had 2 as of recording this. I haven't lived through the 3rd one. We'll have to see though. Hope not. And also China's big alliance, economic alliance, and leading BRICS. Yeah. You don't have NATO though, so moving on over to the USB, finally. So, it's a very new sort of country. As for religion, yeah, it's mostly the dark blue one. I think it's almost entirely the dark blue religion, which is, of course, the religion that came from Crimea. It's our southern European religion that made its way all the way over to Iberia, and also, like, a number of other places. Yeah, it's in Papua New Guinea, so that's funny. I also hate it. It's cool. Either way, yeah. So you're kind of like the Catholics, I suppose. It would be equal to that, except it's polytheistic and it's like Norse pagan religions. So yeah, it's not really Catholic at all. Either way, yeah, it doesn't really matter. You're coast-to-coast nation, bordering the Pacific and the Atlantic, and that's always a good thing. It was kind of so they were more like the United States. That's why I did that. Just because you're kind of meant to be like the United States, but not quite the same. Your capital is in a cool spot. I like this bit of Brazil. And yeah, you influence literally everyone here. You can also absolutely annihilate everyone here. In fact, the USB might be able to beat the entire continent by themselves. I doubt it, just because there's a lot of people on this continent. They could definitely give it a go. I mean, like, you want me to? I mean, they've got jungles. Yeah, these guys, where even is your capital? Do you not have a capital city? But I read through this map. Yeah, I might not have given some of these guys major cities. Oops. I guess I'll just give you some now. Whoa. Sorry, mate. I mean, you guys aren't that rich. any few countries. So, it's not really the Uruguay one. You're like the second strongest country in South America. So, you actually could give Brazil a bit of a challenge. However, I mean, it's to win. That's so sure. But you would challenge them a lot. As for like third strongest, I mean, I don't know. Like Colombia, or maybe Peru. Yeah, big Peru. This country is also quite strong. So the USB can easily take your capital city. So you might think because that issue will fight them, but also on pretty good terms with the USB. I mean, they have an economic alliance that is the USB, Peru, Border Island, Venezuela is in this one, the Blue Amazonian country, which is this one, Northern Chile, the Green Andes country, which is this one, Green Uruguay one, which isn't in Uruguay, it's in Brazil, and Colombia. So all these countries are in SAO, which is the South American Union, quite economic thing. They're going to expand this way, for sure. But I mean, is this comparable to China? No, it's poorer than one day China. It's probably, it's not like 14 trillion, so it's not too much weaker than China. But it's a very democratic country. They have a few issues. I mean, a lot of people with the death penalty and some lawlessness in the country. I mean, there's quite a bit of poverty in certain areas, like this sort of inner area. And then you picture on the coast, which are kind of like, these are huge tourist destinations. This entire area was quite a poor country beforehand, and now it's been turned into this massive economic area. I feel like there should be more cities in this country, so I might just add some. Especially on the capital. Because the economy of this thing is massive, and it's growing so quickly. The population's growing so quickly. Lots of people are moving to the USB because the opportunities are great. I mean, people are living in poverty in certain areas, but I mean, if you go to a city or something, it's really easy to get jobs. Really low-paid things, but it's still a job though. So, I mean, yeah, it's quite a good country for opportunities. Let's look at the number 3 spot. So you're kind of comparable to Germany, except you're stronger than Germany, economically and militarily and in population and size. Yeah, you beat Germans easy. I mean, Germany's military is like the 19th. Your military is, I don't know. You have so many people, and the people are quite nationalistic. You really think holding them back or patriotic, not nationalistic. They don't want to make an empire. Brown tea. Yep, bring back the brown tea empire. Sorry, I'm really snotty. Anyway, yeah, their economy is probably around $10 trillion, so it's a big gap between them and the USB. Like literally the economy of India. That's how big the gap is between these two. Beating China, no way you could beat China. I mean, you might look at it and be like, oh yeah, I think you could definitely win. But, I mean, one day India, some people think, oh yeah, we really did China. Maybe, but their economies are so different. China's military is a lot better than India's military. So, yeah, maybe they would have more of a chance if India has a chance in real life. Then these guys maybe, I'm not sure. But, I don't think they could beat this lot. Oh, you can't get these guys. They have a lot of influence, they have their own economic alliance. And, yeah. A lot of influence around the Bay of Bengal and the Indian subcontinent in general, which is kind of like, you've got a lot of influence. I like this sort of stuff. Which is nice, and then also this guy. You like these guys. I think you intervened during their war a bit and sent a lot of troops down to go kill all the central Malagasy people. But, you know, oh well. As for other things you're interested in, if you want an independent northwestern Australian state, which these guys do not want. I mean, as for Western Australia, they are in the top 20. Where did I put them? 20th, yeah. So they're, I mean, I'm not really sure these power rankings. Quite a lot of countries are quite close in terms of power, so I would take a few spots differently. Of course, you guys would absolutely get destroyed by even like India or Bengal. You might be able to beat Myanmar, but yeah, you're not beating these guys if you fight them. You are very strong though. You could easily sweep up this entire continent. But you could beat any country on this continent. Just need a bit of time in between Northern Australia and New South Galway. They'd give you a bit of an issue. Anyway, yeah. Otherwise, Bengal is very peaceful. They don't like to build nukes. They don't have any. They could easily build some. They have. I mean, there's so many people there, and every year so many more people are born. Yeah, the population growth is crazy. So there's lots of intelligent minds there. There's just a lot of people living in poverty, doing subsistence farming. And if you get their education up though, there's going to be so many intelligent people who are going to be there. And it's crazy. Yeah, they're pretty major on the global stage. And we have, if you look at the next country, it's Russia. This is more like Western Russia now. They were for quite a long time the strongest country on earth, even beating the British Empire, which isn't as strong as the real world British Empire. But, yeah, they're pretty strong, but they were. Either way, this Russia is, I mean, they've been through a lot. First World War, they lost, then got puppeted by their arch nemesis. Second World War, they won, annexed back a lot of their stuff, and maybe for a while they were the strongest country. Then they were in the Cold War against a country that was quite a big ally of them, the Red Team, or maybe the Arabic Union, or maybe the EU. That fell apart, it was just them against the Green Team, and they fought in World War III, where, yeah, they lost a lot to all these guys. And in the end, the Green Team got very close to their capital city, to try and rebuild their country, and that was a lot of duties to protect this. They do have quite a strong alliance, however, Europe is moving closer towards, well, like, nice ideas? I don't know. Less war, there's lots of anti-war sentiment in Europe, whilst the Russians are kind of further away from that. I mean, they lost, like, a really big part of their territory. This now become the 11th strongest country on Earth. This stuff. And they want it all back. Like, really soon. So, the Russians are very pro-war at the moment. Their war industry is massive. Sorry. They still have quite a huge war economy in manufacturing stuff. It's just hard to get out of that. But they're always going to be very prepared for the war. And even now they're probably developing things like war exoskeletons, like battle suits, which are easy to wear. I don't know, I feel like that's something we might be developing in the modern day. So they're quite advanced in terms of things like that. I mean, also controlling this as well. Baltic access, doing stuff up here. They've got a lot of duties. They're a very important country. And then I think they're in the Nations Committee, which is our version of the UN. I don't remember if they are, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, they are. So that's cool, and they have a big alliance with them. Some really strong countries like Crimea, for example, and regional powers as well. I mean, the Great Team's not, but they're there. I mean, we like having the Great Team there, right? They like existing. Yeah, so it's Russia, Crimea, the Grey Country, the Karelian one, which is massive now, it's a huge Finnish thing, the Blue Tibetan one, which is maybe by regional power. I think you could probably beat all the countries you bought it, except for China and Russia. They don't bought Russia. And China, so like, you can keep a good leash on all these guys. So there's more rogue ones over here. Yeah, the Caucasian Union, that's a pretty strong country. Interesting, good place, and it's very, very much Russian culture, so they're good allies. And then the dark green one, which is kind of the Russian puppet from World War III. They were just able to like, add them to their alliance. They went through a lot, these guys. they've had a lot of border changes and changes in government, things like that. And I mean, they have the religious capital, sort of, in their country. They just kind of moved a bit, to be honest. They were further eastwards. Yeah, right. They've had a very distressing time in history, especially recently. So the fourth strongest country in the world is Korea. Korea's a pretty interesting one. Once again, they hate China. They've hated China for absolutely ages, but it's got a lot worse. I mean, during the time of the Cold War, they had another sort of sub-Cold War. It was between China and Korea, and that's still going on in the modern age. The only problem is that Korea's got like $6 trillion, and China's got probably got less. Yeah, and China's got 15. So China's economy is nearly like 3 times as big as Korea's, and it's a much larger country, a much more populous country. Yeah, it's just their allies are better as well. They have a lot more influence. Yeah, it's not great for Korea. I mean, they're really close allies. Kind of this sort of group, and these guys really aren't very strong. Baikal is kind of strong. Sakhalin's meh. Japan isn't nearly as strong as it used to be. Actually, nothing going on here. Nothing going on here. Yeah, Baikal's just lost a lot of power, really, over time. You're a pretty good ally, but you don't really want to get involved with this stuff, because even despite being a Korean ally, you do still trade with China, because, like most people do, it's the biggest economy on earth. Of course you're gonna trade with them. So, that's just how the world is, unfortunately. Apart from that, I mean, New Zealand's a pretty good ally. So these New Guinea countries are. Vietnam's pretty good friends with them. Stuff like that. They've got quite a fortunate placement in that China's right over there. The really scary thing is, though, if they discover about China massacring a huge part, like the Korean religion, around the world, that's not very good. In like Taiwan and places like that. And I think they're also trying to do stuff in southern Japan. I mean, the Japanese were like, oh, you kill all these guys because we don't like them. And China just kind of did some more stuff. And it went really excessive, and they blamed it on various gangs and stuff like that. Sorry. Yeah. It's a distressing time for Korea. And lots of people predict there'll be like a World War IV that starts over here in East Asia. And it's really tense. So, there's that. They also lost all of their empire recently. Some of their biggest, most important colonies. Like, all this sort of stuff. California, Vancouver, they moved over to the Chinese sphere of influence, which definitely been depressing for them. I mean, it's quite sad. They just dumped you like that and went to go over to your enemy. But, I mean, it's what it is, mate. Sorry. Really, I don't like being ill. I always seem to get ill. British weather. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so that's Korea. Let's go on to the UK. So this country, theoretically, should have less than like $3.5 trillion because its empire was nowhere near as big as the British Empire in our day. So theoretically, should be a lot weaker. I think their military is probably weaker than the modern-day British military. And maybe their economy's better. It's a difficult issue. I mean, you don't even have like Northern Ireland, or the Isle of Man, or the Falkland Islands, or Akrotiri and Deucalion, like any of those other random islands. Your empire is literally just the British Isles. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, really. And like, so yeah, I'm not really sure how much money they would have. I feel like they probably would have about $4 trillion. So that's a lot of money, though. they're quite an influential country. They lead this world's kind of NATO thing of Britain, Ireland, Terracotta Country, Iberia, Norway, Sweden. And I'm pretty sure France is in it, aren't they? Yep. So they kind of lead that, which is pretty cool. They have nuclear bombs in Iceland and other places around the world, such as the. They're also pretty important in the European Union, like economic things like keeping Europe together, because Eastern Europe's quite a mess, especially the yellow team. You are the Serbia kind of, because I mean Serbia doesn't have great relations with European countries, so you're not really around your best allies here. Yellow team. You could rival Italy if you get a bit stronger. Like an ideal world for the yellow team would probably look at something like this. But the blue team's a bit too far, I feel like. Also, I just remembered I missed out the red team. Oops. But yeah, this is what they really like to get. Actually, they can't really attack this Limish country because they're in the red team alliance. So, you have to be yellow team. They went for. Anyway, not a whole lot to say about Britain. And these other European countries are mostly the same. Like Terracotta Country, Ireland, Iberia. So only the red country, and then I'm going to kind of finish talking about stuff. Yeah. Germany and Poland is very different. I mean, the Middle East, for example, with the red team, it's so much stronger than it is in the modern day. It's so much more united. It's like one culture instead of what we're going to talk about like Kurdish stuff. We've got those rebels in Syria, although that has calmed down, and all these countries hating each other, like the Cold War between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and Turkey hating Iran, Israel hating Iran, and like Iraq and Kuwait, and all stuff like this. Just no, it's border disputes, nope. It's just really united and quite happy. I mean, theoretically, yet you could unite these two countries. Culturally, they would definitely mix. That happened not very long ago. We're not going to do that. So, yeah, I mean, this entire area is kind of red culture, and it could definitely form a massive empire if it wanted to. It would look really awesome. However, it doesn't want to. But yeah, it's just so much more united, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I feel like you get a lot of groups at the start of Civilization, and I mean, like, they didn't go that far that quickly, so you'd have lots of different countries that would then develop quite far. There's some like Assyrian autonomous movements of Syria, I think. And like, Assyria was ages ago when there was actually a country. So yeah, I think they'd have lots of old grudges, so maybe that's not realistic. If I ever do a season 2, I want to make it ultra realistic. Like Europe not loving each other lots. I think that's unrealistic. Anyway, yeah, that's probably about it for this video. This world is very different, basically. Yeah. Might see some pretty huge wars soon. I'm very excited for that. Either way, thank you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, no border changes today, sorry. Just a lot of yap. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.